this may be the thumbnail for the picture. So today I want to answer some of the questions. You guys have seen the post that I have made on social media regarding this new machine that we're launching. This machine is called the One. And disclaimer, this prototype is actually not the final look of the machine. So if you actually look at the machine that we posted, it's a little bit different. The machine is actually a lot shorter. And what I want to show you guys is the difference between both machines, because I know that some of you guys are going to wonder, so why this machine cost $1,000.99 and why this one $599, which is going to be the price that we're going to be launching this machine. So I want to do a comparison because I don't want you guys to kind of like create false expectations or, you know, get the message confused. But let's actually talk about what this machine it is and what this machine is going to offer to you guys, tattoo artists. This machine, as you can see, it is, the first thing that you can see is the finish of this machine. This machine does not have the ultra polish that we do on our machines. It's a matte finish. We call like a stone wash finish, which is actually similar to the finish. I showed this yesterday. It's actually the same finish that you may see on knife blades, stone wash. So basically, it's a different media that we use to achieve this kind of like actually particular look, which I like a lot. But you know, you have matte finish and you have polish on the Flux Max, for example. And of course, there are way more operations to get something polished than to get it matte like that. And the reason of this video is just to try to help you guys understand, you know, how we're able to still design a product at the introductory price of $599, because that's not going to be the price forever. And that's another thing that I stated very clear in the post. So that's one thing. Now, the other obvious thing that you're going to see is that this machine has a screen. This machine doesn't. This machine has a very similar interface as a Flux, but this machine does not have e-gift like this machine have. This machine, to charge it, you have to remove the battery like so, quarter twist, remove the battery, and you got to have this charger always with you to charge the battery, and a cable to charge it to the wall. So again, it's a much more simplistic approach, and thus it is much more affordable to do it, you know, rather than actually building separate batteries with their built-in charger. So the advantage of this battery pack is that, number one, the board, the electronic, the intelligence is in the actual battery pack. And we were the first one doing it this way. And there is, you know, an upside of doing this. Number one is that if you have two batteries and you have two PCB boards, you have redundancy. So you basically have two electronics in the event that you lose one, or in the event that something goes wrong with that one, you can always just simply pop another battery. Now this one, this machine right here, the board is actually inside the machine. This is not a power board. Nothing detaches from here because the cell is external. So if we compare, this is actually built into this, right? So, and on top of that, you have the screen and all the features. What are the things does the One have or doesn't have that the Flux Max does have? And let me just turn that in. So like I mentioned before, one of the things is going to be the whole interface, you know, the visual interface where you can see battery charge. It's always stated there. On this one, once the machine is actually getting low, this light start blinking rapidly in red. Still, you know, you have an indication of telling when it's time to charge the battery, where this one you can monitor the charge throughout the whole time. This machine also have a lot of features, such as, you know, you can preview the speed by, right now I have it in Hertz, as you can see there, Hertz, or I can switch to volts. Actually, I have both volts here, and now I have the main priority is in there. And this machine can actually go up in incremental jumps of 0.1 volts. So 4, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5. And you can change the increment on the menu. If you want to jump by 0.5, you can do that from here. You just access the menu, pressing this button right here. And as you can see, I'm going to cycle through all the options that this machine has. Let me do it again. So the Max has, the eGIF functionality, also the sensing functionality, as you see, which is going to be needed for the eGIF. And you have that. You have foot pedal control. The one does not have pedal control. You also have the timer. This one does not have a timer. This machine also has, like I was mentioning before there, the preview voltage versus hertz. Let me actually round robin again. So you have the timer right there, so you can see. Then the increment that I just mentioned before, left to your right, a preview, and you have the shutdown option in this machine. Now this machine, there's nothing to shut down because all you do is just remove the battery and you're off. Most likely you want to do that every time you stop tattooing and put the battery to the charger. So there's no reset function in this machine like there is this one. Like for example, if I press these two buttons, or this two, I don't remember. There you go, see, the machine reset it. I just press the up and down and you reset the machine. This one, to reset the machine, you gotta do this and do that, and that's how you reset the machine, as you can see. So obviously this is always going to be the Ferrari of all the tattoo machines that we make. Tons of feature. Now another thing is that this machine features a variety of strokes length, and in this one you can get it from a 2.5, 3, 4, 4.5, and anything else that we may be releasing. The other great advantage of this machine is that it's completely modular, whereas this machine also shares modularity, but it's a little bit more limited than this one. The only thing that you could actually share from the other machines on this one is going to be the grip. So I'm going to put the max grip on the one so you guys can see. So you can share the grips. As you can see, you can do that. You can also share the disposable grips. I have right now a Flux V1 with a disposable grip. I just want to show you the compatibility of that. So if you have Flux machines laying around and you happen to like, the geometry of those grips, you can put those. This is a disposable Gorilla grip. Okay, come back. Yeah, I think that did the trick. All right. So as you can see, I can share, all the grips from all the Flux Max disposable and Flux V1 as well in this machine. So, like I mentioned before, the introductory price of this machine is going to be $599, and most likely after that, it's going to be around the $700. Once that introduction expires, because we're going to be introducing this machine April. By the way, if you're in Chicago, you can actually check out this machine live there. And again, this is not the latest prototype. The new machine is like the one that you see on the screen on the latest post. And I have right now a Flux V1 with a max grip. Again, does showing you the modularity of the system. So when it comes to the motor, also there are differences. This machine uses our own proprietary Dark Lab Electronics motor. We've been working on the motor for about 3 years now, and that motor has actually been commercialized in our PMU machine line, permanent makeup lines, for a while, and that motor is running incredibly. Now, I know that a lot of you guys, when you hear different motor, you may be wondering, is the motor worse? No, the motor is actually not worse. The difference is that the motor that we have here is a brushed motor. It uses brushes rather than brushless motor. And there are two sides of the stories here. If you actually are familiar with the Spectra Direct, which was a very popular machine that we released, that machine was unbreakable, and that machine had a brushed motor. Spectra Halo, same thing. That machine had a brushed motor. Spectra Edge, that machine had also a brushed motor. Cyan, that machine also had a brushed motor. Actually, the only machine that has a brushless motor is the Flux line. All the other machines that we have made before, they have a brushed motor, and this one has a brushed motor. Why we chose to use a brush motor in this machine? Well, we wanted to make a machine. And yeah, feel free to state all the comments so I can respond to them. I'll get to them in just a moment. So we wanted to make a machine that had a motor that reunited some of our preferences. Some of the things that we did for this motor, for example, we wanted the motor to be totally metal housing. This one features an anodized aluminum housing, the motor itself. We also use a bearing that is larger than most motors that we can get off the shelf. So it has dual bearings, this motor, and it's beefier than any of the other bearings. We also designed the winding for the motor to run cool, even a high speed. The motor delivers the same torque as the motor that you can find in this machine. And to be honest with you, we actually based on the performance from this machine to design this motor, because we wanted to make sure that we have a compatible motor and power that you may be used to from some of our other machines. So motor is brushed, just like the one on the Scion, just like the one on the Direct, just like the one on the Halo, just like the one on the Spectra Edges, and no one had ever complained about those motor being brushed. Now, there's a misconception about brushless versus brushed. This motor actually consumes about the same current as our brushless motor. So in terms of battery performance, you may get about similar battery life. And again, because this machine has less feature, for example, it doesn't have Bluetooth. The Bluetooth also uses some of the energy. So, well, that energy now is going to be rolled back for operation battery life. So it may feel that this machine probably lasts a little bit more than other machines. But when it comes to the construction, yes, there are a lot of things that are different between this machine right here and this machine. From the from the finishing of this machine, this one is, like I mentioned before, it's a matte finish, not a polish. It doesn't have a screen. It has this membrane thing. It does not have the charger built in because you have to charge the battery. So that is actually how we managed to build this machine. And this machine also has less parts. This machine, you have this part right here, this part right here, this part right here. This one, you have this part, and our part that, if you see, even the design is much more streamlined. There's not a lot of machine time spent in the machine. It's because that's actually what we wanted to achieve: reduce the cycle times of production, just so we can actually roll out those savings onto the consumer. And again, if you ask me, is this machine superior than this one? In terms of technology, yes, any Flux is going to be superior as this machine for the reasons that I mentioned before. One being the redundancy of having in the board in every battery, and the other one that the charger is built in the pack, right? So in terms of technology, this is kind of like top of the line, right? All the features that you may want are going to be here. Now, in terms of tattooing, this machine is going to do exactly the same thing as this machine. Just like a coil machine will do exactly the same thing as this machine or this machine, but it's how it's how those features are delivered and how the artist decide to use those features. And remember, it's not about the machine. These are just tools. In the end, it's going to be always about the artist and what the artist prefers as their preferred tool. There are people that still tattooing with coils because that's what it suits them the best, or they just refuse to change, and you don't have to change if it's working to you, right? So those are the main differences between the machine. Again, I repeat, the price of the machine at launch is going to be $599, and after that it's going to be around the $700-ish after the introduction period. Still, kind of like the only machine from an American or European manufacturer wireless around the price. $599, you will not find any wireless machine from an European or American manufacturer, or even Australian, or whatever the case may be. So these machines are still manufactured here in United States in our own facility in Miami, Florida. I got some of the early prototypes here. You can see the finish here, how matte it is. It actually looks white rather than shiny metal when it's tumbled. But yeah, so made in United States, made by us, the electronic engineer here in Miami, Florida. We even do the electronic here in Florida, 45 minutes from our shop. All the engineering gets done in-house and the assembly gets done at a partner shop here in Florida as well. So everything gets done here. Of course, a lot of the parts on this machine, just like in this machine, are sourced globally, batteries, motors, and so on. But we stand behind this product. It has also 1 year warranty. So that's actually the main difference between this machine. I have a Flux V1 right now in my hand with a Flux Max grip. So if you have this, you still have top of the line equipment. This is our flagship machine right here, the Flux Max. Just to show you something here. For example, the geometry that I wanted to do in the Flux Max, this takes incredibly high machine time, meaning the time to complete this grip is a lot longer than the time to complete this grip. This one is actually a revolution like this, and then you have all those grooves right there that are done with a tool like that. Are done with a tool from the top, which accelerates machine time. Where this one, little by little, there is a little tool that is doing 3D surfacing on the machine. So, there are differences in terms of the approach of manufacture. There are differences in terms of the features that both machine offer. And take this machine as just another offering that may suit you depending where you are in your career or depending what your budget is like. There are a lot of people that honestly, they may use maybe a couple of the features of this machine. There are some people that want a machine that just goes up and down and they can stop the machine. Preferably, that's actually where I like my machine. I don't spend a lot of time looking at the screen or playing video games on the machine. All I do is this, focus on what I'm doing, and in and out. So this machine is gonna do exactly that. If you are an apprentice, most likely you wanna try different machines. Well, this is a great machine to start because it'll give you everything you need to get started, to start tattooing and to create incredible pieces. Or if you are a professional that you love that conveniency maybe of, just when a battery goes low, bad or whatever, you just buy one of the cells. We're going to be selling the cell. This is our Panasonic 18500. And you just pop the cell in there and, you call it a day. One thing that I'm going to recommend is to not buy a battery of an unknown manufacturer, because the batteries that we use, they do have protection, and you can see that line right there. It has electronic protection inside the battery itself. So don't try to cheapen out when it comes to battery. This is something that will never happen because it has the best battery that we can possibly acquire in here, and you don't remove the battery here. But in this case, you are going to be able to remove the battery, and you are going to you're going to be tempted to maybe throw like a very cheap battery, but do not do that. We do not recommend that you go cheap when it comes to battery. Use Panasonic batteries and use batteries that have protection themselves. So when the battery is being charged, nothing can happen. So the machine is going to come with two batteries like these. And this is the way you put it. Actually, the positive button goes up. And there's going to be a sticker there that's going to tell you how to put the machine. And, you go quarter turn here, and that's it. And you're going to see the lights flashing, and that's it. Now, let me talk a little bit about the cap. The final cap actually is much shorter, and I think it's going to be much more comfortable. How you remove this is simply going quarter turn and remove, just like our motor bolts and everything else. To pop it, quarter turn and pop. The reason why I wanted to do it like that rather than screwing and screwing and screwing and screwing like a flashlight is because when you do that, there is chance that at some point when you let your hand loose, that you may do this and drop it, right? I mean, you can still drop this, but, and I dropped one yesterday actually, but, you know, because this is a quarter turn, you know, you don't have to depart your fingers from the cap and you can pop it in and out. It's just really easy to do so. So that's the main difference, guy. You know, straightforward machine goes up and down, on and off. The voltage jumps from 0.5 increments. You don't change that. So you can see going down. And just to remind you, white is 5 volts. Now we go up. Blinking is 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, and so on. So honestly, really, really simple to, you know, to determine the voltage and to know where you are at all times. Especially, you know, once you start tattooing, you get familiar. Instead of remembering the voltage, you'll remember the color as a speed setting that you may prefer. So again, straightforward approach, much simpler machine, still a powerful machine, still a machine made in the United States, and just another offering that we have in case you have been looking for a product with less of the technological features, but still an FK iron product that's built well balanced with great ergonomics. So this is the machine starting at $599, and then we'll be at around 700-ish, you know, 700-ish. We haven't determined that yet, but it's not gonna be more than 700-ish after that. So all of you guys that jump in early are gonna be able to get it for $599. And distributors also will be able to get this machine at their discount tier from $599 for the limited time. And yeah, you know, just wanted to make a machine to cater to those artists that have been looking for a machine that is great, for a machine that has less features but still pushes the needle in and out, made by FK Irons here in the United States. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to address some of the questions. I see a lot of comment, guys, so I'm going to try to go through some of the, let me see. All right, let me see. Cam size. Okay, so this machine, and this one is from Maverick Mace Art. The cam size, you're going to be able to, and the stroke is not adjustable or replaceable, so you buy the machine as is with a stroke. So this stroke is going to, this machine is going to have a 3mm stroke and a 4mm stroke. We may do probably a 2 point something or 2 in the future. And an idea that I have is that I want to make every stroke body. I'm going to change the color of the cap. So if you have two machines equally the same, and this one is red and the other one is green, you can actually tell what stroke it is. There is going to be a sticker there that is going to have also the stroke of the machine, and you know, that's gonna help you identify the stroke. Now another one. So I use the Flux machine and it's the best. This is Leon Co Tattoo. Thank you for that. The Flux Max Golden Dragon is my baby. The Flux Max is a great machine. So okay, this one is from Andres Acid. He's asking how long does the battery last? Okay, so we have been conducting tests with machine loading, internally turning the machine on and off. With extreme low 50 Magnum hard membrane. We actually don't use needle. We made a contraption that has a spring that simulates tension and resistance on the skin. It's a kind of like a pseudo cartridge, but doesn't have a needle. It has something that we can control the tension. We pop them in here and the machine runs with that machine for indefinitely amount of time. It turns off, it turns on. So we have a rig that we have designed to test devices that simulate an artist working with a machine. So battery life in this machine at a 9 volts with a 15 Magnum light needle, tattooing on the arm on an average skin, because we factor in that resistance as well. And the pigment with color pigment, also accounting for the viscosity and the additional resistance that pigment also opposed to the needle in the machine. This machine lasts at around 7.5 hours at 9 volts, 50 magnums, tattooing on and off on the skin. which is actually incredible because that means that if you use the machine lower, you may get a greater battery life. Now, when it comes to battery life, don't take what I'm saying as exact words because there are a lot of factors that are going to impact battery life. The number one thing is that when you start tattooing, the battery was freshly removed from the charger. Remember, this battery, even here sitting alone, will actually deplete over time. Any battery, automatically the chemistry, starts changing in the cell, and a battery could actually deplete, but just by not faster, but gradually, just by simply sitting. We also have done the best case scenario, and we managed to get at about 11 hours of battery life running at 5 volts with the same needle on and off. So basically, great battery life, guys. I'm happy if I can get more than 3 hours and all I have to do is just change the battery. That's a game changer. Now, this machine is going to give you from the 7 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours range, which is almost what you get from these batteries. You could actually get up to 11 hours as well if you run the machine at the 4 volts, the best case scenario. If you're running a liner, single liner, black and gray pigment, of course, the battery in lower voltage, the battery's going to last more than if you run a white magnum, viscous pigment for a longer period of time, and you are heavy-handed. So all these things are going to come into play. So I hope you kind of understand a little bit about battery life. So Joe Del Tattoos asking about the stroke. I already answered that one. Does the charger come with a machine? Yes, this charger is the one that is going to come with a machine because it meets all the regulations that we must have to commercialize the machine. The machine in Europe, Asia, everywhere. Now, that's another thing that a lot of you guys don't know. All of our machines, when you see the stickers, they're just not gibberish. You can actually go to every single website and track this product. That means that our product has been certified to be safe to be used as an electronic device, which is not the case of a lot of products that come from overseas with either no certification or fake certification. What that means is that perhaps you're using a device that may interfere with other devices such as pacemakers, aviation devices, or that the electronics may be dangerous and, a battery can blow up or catch on fire, stuff like that. So we don't go that route, so this machine will also, it's actually gone already through the certification, and this machine will be commercialized when we can slap this sticker stating that this machine has passed all the certification issues which are actually completed. So you should actually see a model with a sticker soon. All right, let me see. Okay, show us the motor of the machine. Well, this machine, I don't have the tools to disassemble this machine because I'm here at home, but this machine, as you see, there are no screws or no evident way to disassemble the machine. So, but I think at some point we're going to be showing the new motor and so on. So let me see. Maybe I have a motor here. Do I have a motor here? Let me see. This one. I'm gonna actually get you guys in the next live. I'll show the motor. Actually, I compare both motors as well. If you guys want to see that, the brushes versus the brushes motor that we use here. So someone is saying you want cheap on the materials. Well, that is actually inaccurate because the material that we use in this machine is the same material that we used in this machine. So material is still 6061 T6 aircraft aluminum grade, which is one of the top grade other than the 7075, but we don't use it because it doesn't produce a good finish when anodized. So to correct OG Bazaar Inc., not correct, maybe you didn't know that, and I just want to make sure that, I'm clear with this. It's the same aluminum that we use for this machine. The material has not changed. The cost per foot has not changed. It's the same. It's just the finish. This one has multiple steps over when it comes to the finish. And also has multiple machining little things that add time to the machining, like all those cuts that you see there, the 3D surfacing here, and the shiny mirror finish that these grips have to go through before that. This one is what we call the stonewash finish. It's a flat matte finish, which in my opinion, I really dig it. I love matte black. And yes, we're able to shave off that cost and pass it on to you. But if you would want to see a machine anodized, maybe we could do a limited edition at that to the price, and there you go. But we definitely wanted to keep this machine as affordable and attainable as possible. Obviously, without compromising materials, which is what we mentioned here. We're not changing the material on the machine. Let me see. Yeah, this is the new machine. So someone is asking how good is compared to the Flux, and that is going to be a very personal question, because it's what type of feature you're looking for. It's which is the best bicycle for you. Well, if you do mountain bike, probably a street bike is not going to be the best bike for you. You're going to want a mountain bike and vice versa. If you want a simple commuter, probably like a race bike, it's not going to be the best thing for you. So it all depends what you're looking for. One thing that I can tell you, that both machines will deliver tons amount of torque, and both machine can go up to 4 millimeter. This one can go up to 4.5. But other than that, it's just whether you like all the additional features that the machine has, like the timer, e-give, the screen, the built-in charger, the redundancy of having the PCB in the battery rather on the machine. So different things. So I think that's going to be very personal. I can tell you that you could actually tattoo with both machines and achieve the same excellent result at the end. All right, so I've been using the OG Flux, and this is Ricky Tat is saying, I've been using the OG Flux for 2 years now. No reason to upgrade other than the fancy LED screen. The product is too good. There you go. So Ricky loves the OG Flux because he wants on and off and go. And this one is going to be more similar to that original Flux, but again, minus the modularity, minus the polish and all this stuff. But same thing, if you really don't want a machine shiny and you like matte like me, well, maybe this one is going to be a machine, and the great thing is going to be $5.99 at launch. So this is Chris Buzz Tattoo. Send me inbox me a message, Chris Buzz Tattoo. We'll take care about your inquiry right away. Okay, so I don't know. People are asking me to compare with machines that I never heard before. So yeah, this is the one. It is not the final product. Let me show you. Actually, I have it here. I was actually designing this post that you've seen. So this is pretty much the shape. If you see it, it's much shorter right now. The final model. This ring is different. If you see that, we added some stuff here, and the cap is also different. So this is the what I just showed you is the. Sorry, let me just. There you go. All right, so what else? Continue to talk about the one which is going to be dropping April 18. So Joe Del Tattoo said, are you planning to release a machine with multiple stroke in one machine? You know what? Everything is possible because we listen to you guys. That's all I'm going to say there. So e-give, no, this machine does not have e-give. And again, I repeat, Cactus Boy Tattoo asked me if this machine has the same motor. I already addressed the motor. You can actually go back in just a moment. And So Flocka Tiamon's moms, whatever I can pronounce that, it says, can someone tell me if this is worth it? Well, the machine hasn't been out, so I don't think anyone actually. Well, there are some artists tattooing with it right now in Chicago. If you're in Chicago, you could go and ask them. So, okay, so some people say that they prefer machines with no e-gift. So there you go. This one doesn't have e-gift. So Justin Klink say, if you want an entry-level machine, yes, this is the machine. And then doubtful if you have a Flux Max. If you have a Flux Max, great question, because a lot of people have Flux either V1 or Max. Should you get this machine if you have a Flux Max? Well, the answer, I'm going to help you answer that question, right? If the machine is doing what you wanted to do, no, you don't need to get another machine, because the Flux Max has everything and more than what this machine had, right? Now, if you only have one machine and you want to get either a spare machine or you want to get a different machine to have it ready with a specific needle and a specific parameter, well, maybe, you may want to try this machine out. You already have a Flux Max and now you're looking for a secondary or tertiary machine. Why not get this machine? But if you have, like, let's say 3 Flux Maxes and you're just buying a machine thinking that this is better, the performance is going to be the same minus all the features that I just mentioned before. So this machine will not be a less of a machine in terms of what you can accomplish with when in comparison with a Flux Max, right? So I'm just trying to be very honest with you and straightforward, not trying to sell you another machine if you don't need it, but I'm here to help you decide in the event that you are opting for a second machine. If you have 2 Flux Maxes or 1, yes, I would try this machine, especially if you can grab it at $5.99 when this machine releases. All right, so let me see. Justin Kling says that the Flux Max is a great machine. I'm just trying to pick so many questions. Cam size, I mentioned that. Let me just try to go some of the latest comments here. En español. I'll be making a video in español, guys. Probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the second video is going to be in Spanish, okay? So voy a hacer un video en español después de este. Adam Pierce Tattoo, what will be the price after the $5.99? Like I said before, it's going to be around the $700-ish, okay? Somewhere in there. And we'll actually announce that with time. For PMU specific machines, please check microbue.com, and we have all the PMU machines right there. So let me see how to get a new battery for my Flux. This ink by EZ17. You just go to fkr.com or your favorite distributor, you can buy there, but fkrs.com under power bolts or power supply, you can find them there. So Mikey is asking, why not a digital screen? Well, I mean, because we already have a machine with digital screen and we wanted to kind of like take that off and knock off some dollars on the final price of the machine. So again, if a screen is, very, very important for you, this one has a screen and the additional features that I mentioned. But if all you want is on and off and the machine to tell you when to charge it, yeah, there you go. So yesterday I did a test And I'll do it again. I'll do this. I'm gonna run the machine at 8 volts. 8 volts is the red light. How powerful is it? Obviously, we'll never tattoo with this needle again, but plenty of force. Okay, so see, this battery is actually, yeah, there you go. It's actually a 5 volts. I mean 5 volts, 8 volts and 8.5. So that's actually, you know, the power and I'm using there. Yeah, I've been doing that test yesterday too. So I think that if you'll be able to pack pretty good with this machine and push, you know, any type of needle configuration. All right. Alright guys, so I think that this is it. I'm gonna do a video in Spanish. Voy a hacer un video en español para todos los amigos que quieren aprender más sobre esta máquina de habla española. Así que los dejo con este video. Cualquier pregunta nos la hacen saber. Pueden comentar en el post. So I finished this video. I'm gonna do one in Spanish right now. And if you have any questions, you know, I'll continue to do and show you guys more things, more advances. I can't wait to show you guys the final body, which is actually under production. As soon as I have one of those, we'll have some machines to show you, talk about it, because the machine is actually, the final is shorter, lighter, and this is one of the old prototypes that I have right here, but, you know, it's very similar. So guys, talk to you soon. Take care.